back to another episode of Founder Stories. So I hope everyone watching this had a great Thanksgiving, and without any ado, we're going to dive right into our entrepreneurship icebreaker.
I think social entrepreneurship is technically when you're selling a product or service to benefit a social cause, but I really think at this point every company should see themselves as social entrepreneurs. I think as citizens we should always be thinking about our impact on others, and I think as companies even more so, we have power and responsibility to impact social causes. I think there are many women I look up to. I tend to be so inspired by women who can have enough confidence to always put themselves out there and talk to new people, but are always humble enough to ask questions. I think when I meet a really powerful woman that I look up to, and she takes the time to get to know me and takes the time to get to know other people who are not as far as she is along at her journey, I'm just so inspired, and those are the qualities I really want to be able to balance in my life as well. I found that just knowing yourself and knowing what you need is really important. For me, I really value a change of scenery, and so I worked from home for many years, and then I have been in a co-working space for the last 2 years, and I still find that I need a lot of variety. So throughout the day when I'm feeling drained or frustrated, I'll just switch venues. I'll go to a coffee shop, sometimes I'll work out of a hotel lobby and just feel like I'm on vacation a little bit, and that helps to just get my juices flowing again and back in the game. The name of my company is Design Dance, and actually people never believe this, but when I was a kid I used to answer a fake banana phone, Design Dance, and I don't think I knew what it meant yet, but I knew I wanted to have a dance business or a dance studio one day. My parents were both graphic designers, so that word design was always in my world, in my vocabulary, and so I liked the alliteration, so I said it often. I think now that we've really built a company around a particular mission, I think it actually really aligns pretty nicely with what we do.
She's the founder of Design Dance, a company increasing access to arts programming for over 1,400 students weekly. She became the director of her first dance education program in her hometown at the age of 16 and has been teaching, choreographing, dancing and mentoring ever since. In 2008, Debra founded Design Dance as a way to bring dance education to children in all communities, regardless of age, experience, background and income, through partnership with schools and community centers. And we are proud to be doing this interview with you today.
Thank you so much.
So Debra, how can dance be life-changing for a young person?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that's really our job, is always to be educating our schools and our partners, our parents, on the transformative impact of dance. I think we think of dance often as something that we look at it as an art form, but we think about ballet dancers, maybe we even think about hip-hop dancers, but we're thinking about styles of dance. And I think one of our missions is really to break out of what does dance look like on a stage, but think more about what dance can be in our lives. And so for us, a lot of the students that we're working with, they may not go on to be professional dancers, but really our goal is to give them an outlet, and so that outlet can be physical. Some of our kids, they don't move all day, they're just sitting in their desk, so just having that physical outlet can be really transformative. For some kids, they need a creative outlet, they need an opportunity to say what's on their mind, and so we do poetry and dance programs where we're partnering these two art forms together. I think when I started, I had such a strong technical dance background, and so really I just wanted to increase access to what I already had growing up. But now that we've been doing this for 9 years, I get really excited about so many other ways that we're impacting kids, even just in terms of letting them take some physical space up. So a lot of our, especially for young girls, I think giving them an opportunity to say, here's what I have to say, here's what I'm imagining, and then here's what it looks like in my body. That agency is something that you can practice at a young age, and I think you can incorporate that as you grow up as well.
So, right, so we had the chance to kind of go to a center and actually see one of Design Dance classes. It was beautiful, amazing. You'll see some shots in the video. But how is Design Dance actually structured? Like, who are you collaborating with? operationally, and how's the story evolved? Yeah.
Yeah, so at this point we operate as a community-based program only. So a lot of dance companies operate out of studio programs. We're unique in that we are only community-based, which means that we have 3 different types of partnerships. We do school partnerships, which means we're either during the school day in a residency or after school in a weekly program. We do community center programs. Those are partnerships with the city of Chicago. So we work in 2 different city spaces, and those partnerships allow us to run the program at a sliding scale and be able to give scholarship opportunities to families. All families pay a 50% reduced price at those community center programs as well, because of an incredible partnership with the city of Chicago where we get that space for free, which allows us to subsidize the cost. And then the third type of programming we do is we go out into other spaces, so for one-time workshops. So we have a partnership with the Adler, we have a partnership with the Chicago Children's Museum, we've done Art Institute partnerships, and those are opportunities to infuse dance into spaces that families are already going. So we really are excited about the opportunity for families that are taking advantage of the free programming in those spaces, that they also get an opportunity to experience dance.
Wow. So you've been running and leading Design Dance now for 9 years, and I also saw that Debra is also a TEDx speaker, right? But I'm sure the journey would have not have been easy. So the other entrepreneurs who are watching this, they can learn from your experiences. What are the most difficult parts of kind of running Design Dance?
Yeah, we don't have enough time for all of the difficult parts about running a business. It's really hard. I think the most ongoing struggle that I think I wasn't prepared for, I always saw myself, I always wanted to be a business owner. I thought that was like such a cool job even before I knew how hard it was going to be. But one of the things that always surprises me is how difficult it is to not have a boss, because you don't have anybody setting your benchmarks for you. And so like when we ran some programming in California for a little while, and I really wanted to run programming out of state, and so it was a big goal of mine. I remember the day that I got my first San Francisco program, and it was like 12 degrees below zero in Chicago. I was in my pajamas in the middle of the day working from home. This was before we had an office, and I booked my first program, and it was the most anticlimactic thing. Like I got off the phone and I was by myself. It was the dead of winter. I was like in my pajamas. I didn't have any coworkers, and that is kind of the experience that you don't always have someone to share those experiences with, and you don't have anyone to tell you that you are successful. So a lot of entrepreneurs, I think, are people who are always thinking about doing more, and it's easy to look on social media or look at business advice and think, I should be doing all of these things. And so you never really feel like you're done, and then if you don't have a boss to say, okay, these are your goals, and if you hit these goals, you're doing it, it's very difficult to feel that intrinsic gratification from your job sometimes, because you don't have that outside support. Yeah. So that's been the most ongoing challenge, I think, for me.
So you need to give yourself a thumbs up?
You have to give yourself a thumbs up. Yeah, you have to. I think getting really good at goal setting is how I've really combated that, so that I put it on paper and I write it out, so that there is, even though I don't have a boss, it's like, this Google Doc is my boss, like I know that if I hit these things, then I'm going to allow myself to feel really good about it.
So going back to Design Dance again, I read about designing healthy classrooms, and we also spoke about how you're leveraging the SEL framework. And so what is all this about?
So there's more and more research every year that comes out about the importance of social emotional learning in the classroom. I think a lot of teachers are starting to adopt social emotional learning in their classrooms, or looking for opportunities to do that. And dance obviously is an incredibly effective tool in reaching social emotional initiatives. I think the real challenge is that a lot of schools can't fund, bringing in a dance program, and the arts funding is dwindling every year. So what we've developed is a framework that teachers can use themselves. So Designing Healthy Classrooms is our professional development program for Chicago public school teachers, and Momentum is our online platform for our public school teachers to use. It's for grades K through 3, and it's just a series of 18 activities that teachers can learn and get comfortable with that use breath, yoga, and dance to integrate directly into your classroom transition. So the hardest times for most kids is the long periods of focus and the transitions between activities. So our program integrates directly into those 2 problem areas to help teachers in public schools to integrate dance, even if they don't feel like dancers themselves.
even if they're not dancers themselves.
Yeah.
That is the core thing, right?
Yes.
You don't need to be a dancer to be
Yes.
using momentum for your kids, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's what we're really going for. Is like really making it feel accessible. You don't have to like have a good turnout in order to just incorporate movement into the school day.
And what comes next for you? What's next for Design Dance?
Yeah. So in that same vein, we're really again thinking about how can we make movement accessible in all these different arenas. And so we're really focusing right now on our parent community and offering them opportunities to use dance at home. So we are in the testing phase right now, and then launching right at the beginning of 2018 something called The Groove, which is an at-home series of courses that focus on mindfulness, cognitive development, and creativity, and how parents can use quick movement activities at home with their children to aid in their development at home.
So Debra, when you're designing these courses, what's the process behind it? How do you is it your experience that you leverage? How do you come about these programs?
I think it's easy for us after all of these programs that we've done to see the benefits right away. Like we know the benefits. But as we're developing a course for people who aren't us, we're really trying to make sure that it is accessible and useful to the people we're trying to serve, which are families. So we have done some testing over the last couple months, which has been a really interesting process. We're partnering with General Assembly, and we're one of their student projects, which has been an incredible resource for us. But really, really challenging and really vulnerable. I think it's easy when you are excited about your program. I mean, for me, I'm like super excited about this stuff. I think about it all day. Keeps me up at night. I love it. And so it's easy to become so married to your idea and your vision, and that experience of putting that vision out and having other people test it is so vulnerable. It's actually surprising to me. I think I went into this thinking, oh well, of course we'll test it. That's what smart business owners do. And then once I had built even the first week of the course that we were going to send out to families to try, I felt myself just feeling really nervous, like right when you go on like a first date or something. Like I felt like, oh god, like what are they gonna think about it? And it is really scary, but it also is really important. I think especially if you're building something digital, like the Groove is a digital product. It's easy to build something and then put it online and then feel really separate from what people think about it. And I don't think that that's healthy, and I don't think it's good. And the feedback that we've gotten so far has been majority really positive, and the feedback we've gotten that's constructive, constructive criticism, constructive input has all been so positive. And I read it and I think like, of course, this is exactly what we should have done at the beginning, and I'm so glad I have that. And so just remembering that even though it's vulnerable, getting that feedback is only making you a better business owner is important.
So Debra, this is going to be our last question on Founder Stories. How do you stay true to your mission while running this for-profit business that is there?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing because we in arts education, most everyone else is a for-profit or a nonprofit, and so when people hear our mission or they hear what we do, we partner with schools and community centers, they assume that we're nonprofit. And to be honest, when I started, I was a for-profit because I was a dance studio when we first opened, and that made sense. But I will say now, I mean, we've explored the option of switching over, and I've chosen to not do it because I think there's a lot you can do with for-profit in creating something sustainable. And the more sustainable you are, the more opportunities you have to help other people. So one thing that we've done is we've gotten really good at community partnership, and I think that that's something that people need to know more about, is that there's a lot you can do. Like our partnership with the Chicago Park District really makes all of these programs for those families. We have over 250 kids in those programs, and they all receive significantly discounted, if not free, low-cost arts programming just because we're a partner there. And we partner with these city institutions, and all of those programs are free as well.
Thank you guys. That was Debra Junta from Design Dance. We're going to be shooting with our first panel next week, and I'm very excited for that. So see you again soon on the next episode of Founder Stories.